Pay attention and listen to all of the hidden messages that were found in the Tucker Carlson interview with Vladimir Putin. Look.
We want money, we want war, we want to beef with Russia. And I think one of the main things, Pat, that I took away that was pretty interesting was when he asked him about the Nord Stream pipeline. He goes, who blew it up? I mean, if we're talking about softball, that's not a softball. Who blew it up? And he laughed and he goes, you did. And what's his name? Tucker goes, I was busy that day. He goes, no, your CIA did it. And a little fun little nugget that not a lot of people paid attention to. Putin goes, who's done this homework, obviously, he goes, CIA, the same CIA that you applied for, but you didn't get in. And he goes, thank God you didn't get in. And Tucker's face was like this. He didn't make a reaction, even though he was getting all of it in his ear. But guys, let's be honest with each other. We know what the United States and NATO and all these allies want. We want to go to war. There's no money in peace. And that's why they hate this, because you get to hear what the other side is saying. And what did Putin say over and over and over? When's the last time you talked to Biden? He goes, I don't even remember. Nobody's talking to him. And the guy's saying, I want dialogue. Let's have a dialogue. But you can't make him look like he's a human being. Because
yes, I don't know if you have seen this. Putin recently endorsed Biden. A question surfaced to him who he preferred. He said Biden because he is easily predictable. Trump is a problem to Putin. Why will Putin choose Biden over Trump? That is a question. The liberal medias are freaking out about that. And on this same video, something happened after the Tucker Carlson interview. Putin was not expecting this kind of interview from Tucker Carlson because he sees Tucker Carlson like that type who like bombastic questions. The way the media is interpreting this.
Having worked at the CIA, I've been asked a lot about the interview between former Fox News correspondent Tucker Carlson and Russian President Vladimir Putin. I think it's really interesting that Tucker Carlson actually accepted this interview. I think that he played right into the Russian president's hands. Listen, Russia has been waging war on many different fronts. And one of the primary ways that they've been using since actually the 1400s is something called covert action. And covert action is the means by which you launch a disinformation campaign to either discredit or distract a foreign government and get them to push your own political agenda. And that's exactly what Vladimir Putin was doing with poor Tucker Carlson. He played right into his hands because he's trying to push his own political agenda. And what is Putin's political agenda right now? It is to make sure that the United States stops funding the military campaign on Ukraine's behalf. So he wants to stop military aid to Ukraine because, of course, he wants to defeat Ukraine. He wants to take it over. And in Congress, Republicans have been a little bit more hesitant about approving additional aid packages in support of Ukraine. And so, of course, Vladimir Putin saw an opening there with Tucker.
Surprise! Putin delivers savage verdict on Tucker Carlson after interview. According to this article, Tucker Carlson, the former Fox News presenter, visited Moscow to conduct the first interview with Putin since the start of the Russian invasions of Ukraine nearly 2 years ago. The media is taking this to another level. Before we even go into this, something recently happened. An opposition in Russia recently died. Now liberals are freaking out that Putin is responsible. Nikki Haley had this to say, Putin did this, the same Putin who Donald Trump praises and defends. The same Trump who said, in all fairness to Putin, you are saying he killed people. I haven't seen that.
In Russia. What I would say is that I think we have to be cognizant that if we don't fight Russia and Ukraine, we're going to have to fight them in other places. And so we need to make sure that we don't play into Vladimir Putin's political agenda. We don't want to fall into the covert action. And that's something that the CIA uses all the time in different countries to push our own political agenda, honestly. If we want another leader, military leader, political leader in power, we're going to launch something called a covert action plan. And we're going to, use the media just like Vladimir Putin is trying to use our U.S. media to further his own political agenda. And, you know, this is not the first time, right, that the Russian government has done something like this. We saw them interfere in the 2016 elections in the United States. There was actually 12 Russian military intelligence officers that have been, you know, FBI has launched an investigation into these military intelligence officers for their actions to launch a disinformation campaign to sway the American public in one way over the other. And Russia's not just doing this in the United States, by the way. They're doing this globally. They are trying to push their agenda in many different countries, not just the United States. So I think that, you know, unfortunately, what happened with Tucker Carlson is that he played right into Vladimir Putin's hands. And I would think that we're going to see a lot of this, you know, happening all the way up until the next presidential election, especially with the Russians trying to push their own political agenda. Hope that helps to kind of understand what's going on. And
it saddens my heart that this lady is still advocating for war. You have watched this video, you have not seen a possible take that can draw conclusions on how this can end. What she's saying here, that they should fight. If they don't defeat Russia, the United States might still fight Russia in different countries, so the time is now. I want to know your opinion, pertaining to this. She talked about CIA like she has been there, she worked there, but it's insane. Why is CNN, you know, all the mainstream media begging Putin for an interview? Because they also want to speak to him, right? And he will obviously answer the question. If you don't ask question that he want to answer, he will tell you to the direction he want. So I don't see any difference with Tucker Carlson carrying out this interview. Now, The View had a segment, they had to discuss this. You know, they are always insane. I want to play this video so you can see exactly what I'm talking about.
This is insane. Okay, are you ready?
Buckle up.
Tucker Carlson gave a megaphone to one of America's biggest threats by posting his social media sit-down with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And even Putin trashed the interview. He was on a Russian state TV. He said he didn't get complete satisfaction from Tucker, who didn't ask the aggressive, sharp questions that he was expecting. Now, Putin went on to say he wants President Biden to stay in power because Biden's more predictable. Please, you know, child. Both of them is too much. So did Tucker play right into Putin's hands?
Well,
I'm gonna change my name. I just thought of a great stripper name.
What? That came from Putin?
Yes.
No,
yes.
It came from Tucker.
Tucker Putin.
Said that he didn't get complete satisfaction from Tucker. I have a feeling that's not the first time Tucker Carlson has heard those words. Or the last. Obviously, Putin here is using reverse psychology, saying that he prefers Biden. We have all seen the relationship that he has with Donald Trump. We've all seen Donald Trump falling all over himself for years and years, even before being president, to kowtow to Putin and kind of get in his good graces. And I think that Putin, who's very smart and understands American psychology, sometimes I think better than Americans, realizes that if he says he prefers Trump, it'll be used against Trump, who is the guy that he actually wants.
The concrete reality of his life.